Europe stands at a complex crossroads in the early 21st century. The continent, largely peaceful for decades, now faces new questions about its security. Among these questions, the topic of nuclear weapons has re-emerged. For many years, nuclear arsenals were shrinking or being maintained at lower levels. However, recent global events have sparked discussions about whether this trend might reverse. Currently, only two European nations possess independent nuclear deterrents: France and the United Kingdom. Their arsenals are modest compared to those of the United States or Russia. Yet they represent a significant strategic capability for Europe. The idea of expanding these arsenals, or even other European nations developing them, is highly controversial. It brings forth a range of technical, political, and ethical considerations. Understanding Europe's current nuclear status is the first step. Then we can examine why expansion is even being discussed today in 2025. The world has seen a shift in geopolitical stability. Long-standing treaties are being tested. New military technologies are emerging rapidly. These changes create an environment of uncertainty. Some argue that a stronger European nuclear deterrent could enhance stability. Others fear it could lead to a new arms race. This debate is not simple. It involves weighing potential benefits against significant risks. France maintains a fiercely independent nuclear deterrent known as the force de frappe. This means possessing just enough nuclear capability to deter any potential aggressor. This arsenal is a cornerstone of French defense policy. They are not integrated into NATO's command structure, highlighting French independence. The French deterrent has two main components: sea-based and air-based. The sea-based component relies on a fleet of nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines, or SSBNs. The air-based component involves fighter aircraft capable of delivering air-launched cruise missiles. France has phased out its land-based missiles, now relying entirely on its sea and air capabilities. The United Kingdom also operates an independent nuclear deterrent known as Trident. Like France, the UK's deterrent is primarily sea-based. It consists of a fleet of 4 Vanguard-class nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines. Each submarine can carry Trident 2D5 ballistic missiles. These missiles are sourced from the United States, but the warheads are designed and manufactured in the UK. The UK's policy is one of continuous at-sea deterrence, or KSD. This means that, like France, at least one British nuclear-armed submarine is always on patrol. As of early 2024, the UK possesses an estimated stockpile of around 225 warheads. In 2021, the UK government announced a significant policy shift, increasing its stockpile cap to 260 warheads. This marked a departure from decades of gradual reduction. The decision was attributed to a changing global security environment. The Trident system is currently undergoing a major modernization program. The Vanguard-class submarines are due to be replaced by new Dreadnought-class submarines from the early 2030s. This is a multi-decade, multi-billion-pound project. The UK's nuclear deterrent is a subject of ongoing political debate within the country. Any further expansion beyond the new cap would likely face intense scrutiny. The discussion about Europe potentially boosting its nuclear arsenal is driven by significant shifts in the global geopolitical landscape. The rise of new powers and the re-emergence of great power competition are key factors. Some European strategists worry about the long-term reliability of security guarantees from allies. They observe a world where international norms and treaties appear increasingly fragile. This creates an incentive to consider greater self-reliance in matters of defense. Specific threats also play a crucial role in these considerations. The actions of established nuclear powers and the ambitions of states seeking nuclear weapons cause concern. The changing nature of warfare itself is another motivating factor. New technologies like hypersonic missiles, advanced cyber warfare capabilities, and space-based weapons are altering the strategic calculus. Furthermore, the perceived decline in arms control efforts contributes to the unease. Treaties that once provided a framework for stability are either defunct or under strain. These complex geopolitical currents are pushing the sensitive topic of nuclear expansion back into the spotlight. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, has been the bedrock of European security for over 70 years. NATO's nuclear sharing arrangements, involving US nuclear weapons stationed in Europe, play a vital role in the alliance's deterrent posture. However, discussions about the future of transatlantic relations sometimes raise questions. Concerns about the long-term commitment of the United States to European security, though often dismissed, can surface. This leads some European thinkers to advocate for greater strategic autonomy. A stronger, perhaps expanded European nuclear capability could be seen as a component of this strategic autonomy. If France and the UK were to increase their arsenals, or if a pan-European nuclear deterrent were ever considered, it could change the dynamics within NATO. Proponents might argue it would strengthen the European pillar of the alliance. However, such a move would also be complex to manage within the alliance. The relationship between independent European deterrence and NATO's overall strategy is delicate. Any significant expansion could lead to questions about command and control, targeting policy, and the role of US nuclear weapons in Europe. The unity of the alliance would be paramount. Balancing the desire for greater self-reliance with the established framework of NATO would be a significant challenge. Expanding a nuclear arsenal is not merely a political decision, it is a monumental technical undertaking. The first major hurdle involves acquiring or producing the fissile materials needed for nuclear warheads. Both France and the UK have existing capabilities to produce these materials. However, scaling up production significantly would require reactivating or expanding facilities. The timeline for producing additional fissile material can be lengthy. Enriching uranium to weapons-grade levels, typically above 90% uranium-235, is a complex industrial process. Similarly, producing plutonium involves irradiating uranium fuel in a nuclear reactor and then chemically separating the plutonium. Beyond the raw fissile material, designing and manufacturing new nuclear warheads is another complex step. Modern warheads are sophisticated devices requiring specialized knowledge in physics, engineering, and materials science. While France and the UK possess this expertise, expanding their production lines would be a major effort. The design of new warheads might also need to be updated to meet modern requirements or to be compatible with new delivery systems. The entire process, from material acquisition to warhead assembly, is a multi-year endeavor demanding precision and immense resources. Possessing nuclear warheads is only one part of a credible deterrent. These warheads need reliable delivery systems to reach their targets. For France and the UK, this means submarines, ballistic missiles, and aircraft capable of carrying nuclear payloads. Expanding their arsenals would likely necessitate an expansion or modernization of these delivery platforms. This is a hugely expensive and time-consuming process. Building new nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines, for example, takes well over a decade from design to deployment. For submarine-launched ballistic missiles and air-launched cruise missiles, production lines would need to be expanded or restarted. The UK currently sources its Trident 2D5 missiles from the US. Any significant increase in its warhead numbers might require renegotiating these arrangements or developing an indigenous missile capability. The supporting infrastructure for an expanded nuclear force is also a critical consideration. This includes naval bases capable of servicing more nuclear submarines, air bases with secure storage for nuclear weapons, and command and control systems robust enough to manage a larger and potentially more diverse arsenal. These technical and logistical demands make rapid expansion extremely challenging. Beyond the formidable technical challenges, any move by European nations to significantly expand their nuclear arsenals would face a complex web of political and economic hurdles. Public opinion in many European countries is strongly anti-nuclear. Decades of peace movements and concerns about nuclear proliferation have shaped this sentiment. Governments considering expansion would need to make a compelling case to their citizens. This would likely involve highlighting perceived existential threats. Economically, a major nuclear expansion would be incredibly costly. The existing deterrents of France and the UK already consume billions of euros and pounds annually for maintenance and modernization. Adding new warheads, delivery systems, and infrastructure would require vast additional expenditure. International treaties and norms also present significant obstacles. The Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons is the cornerstone of global efforts to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons. While France and the UK are recognized nuclear weapon states under the NPT, a significant buildup by them could be seen by non-nuclear states as undermining the treaty's disarmament goals. Adherence to arms control commitments would be closely scrutinized. What might scenarios for European nuclear expansion look like? France and the UK could modestly increase their stockpiles. This involves optimizing production capabilities, enhancing delivery systems' survivability and flexibility. Achievable within 5 to 10 years with political will. A maximum expansion scenario is more ambitious. Doubling or tripling current arsenals, developing new delivery systems, requires a massive national effort. Timelines of 15 to 25 years, international events could accelerate or decelerate the process. A severe global security deterioration could speed up actions. Conversely, successful arms control agreements could halt plans.